Great. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, October 3rd. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 9:11 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America. I could prove it because crime is going down in Washington, D.C., and now coming to Memphis. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great companies like Basiliga Hospitality. Veterans we lost this year, but salute, thanks to John today, like John Morelli, Scott Township, Terry Ann Gallagher, late of North Dakota, but she was from right here in Bloomsburg. Jack Griffith, Quarryville, formerly of Bloomsburg. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers. That government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. We're free to do what we need to do and want to do. But the government should be nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right, granted to individuals and each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. It was not something that could be controlled by government or government officials. Our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. If they use it to lie for the left, so be it. We know better. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because we had them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, which I had a little bump the microphone with my gavel, because we don't use sound effects here. We have an actual gavel, an actual soundboard provided by the Slabjacker. We'll provide a sanctuary of sanity for you, though, for the balance of the morning, because we're committed to common sense. Hey, a couple of quick notes. By the way, I just felt like Rodney today. I hope you didn't mind. My man Mark Wozniak is reminding me that the St. George's Festival, that's on Kaiser Avenue. Is it Taylor? It's Taylor, I believe. And good stuff. Yeah, okay, Saturday and Sunday, 12 to 6. Homemade pierogi, halushki, kielbasa, chowder, potato pancakes, desserts. Kaiser Avenue, Taylor, yes. It's outstanding. It's that beautiful church you will see. And you're driving on Kaiser Avenue in Taylor, and you'll see that beautiful, what are they called? Just a beautiful, I don't know if it's a minaret, but the topping on a church. But, yeah, don't forget about that. Also, there was Cutie's sending me a message, and I don't for something that has already happened a week ago. But all right. Last night, I walked down to Atera 519 to visit an old friend of mine. He was Dominic Morocco, and he what a great guy. And we had a blast. We really did. Cutie came. A lot of laughs, but I just love that Atera deal. I really do. They've got my Oban Scotch, and when you think of the weekends, I think of Basiliga hospitality. I truly do. Although this afternoon, there's an event for Gene Barrett for mayor over at Villa Maria. Our man Joey Machaco hosting. Yeah, Gene's the real deal. We're fortunate and unfortunate simultaneously to have two good candidates for mayor against Mayor Many Names. But anyway, this afternoon, 5 o'clock or so, is the fundraiser at Villa Maria, West Scranton, which, by the way, the veal. It's like a Pavlovian thing. I think of Villa Maria and I think of the veal, and I'm drooling here. So I'm going to have it, obviously. What else is happening? Lots. The budget standoff, which has resulted in a government shutdown, it continues. I don't see any consequences yet. I really hope, and I believe they will, that Trump's going to use this opportunity to doge the entire federal government. And I hope he does. I slash and burn. You know my solution. Cut 50% so that then you know where to cut. Now, Mr. Wonderful, what's his name? Anyway, he's the businessman from television. You see him on the news all the time now. He's on CNN and Fox. But he's a multimillionaire or a billionaire or whatever. And he said you cut more than you have to. Because it's easy to restore. You never can get the cuts once you don't do it. And we didn't do nearly enough cuts with Doge before that became politically unpalatable for whatever reasons, because they still control the media. And so now this is a second opportunity. And I'm excited for it. Let's see what they do. Let's see where they take it. All right. Well, it is time to hear from our great sponsors. We need a little we need to do that. We need a little history, a little music, and then we'll be back. Bill Ayers is calling in the Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice rally this Sunday. He's going to give us a couple of details and much, much more. Rodney's happy that I'm sorry. Thanks, Bob. I love Rodney. What a great way to start the day. I agree. I just absolutely love him. Love him. We'll take a break and be back. Well, you ask why these Thanksgiving messages here in October. Well, because on October 3rd, 1789, George Washington declared the day of Thanksgiving. And then in 1863, President Lincoln proclaimed the last Thursday in November to be Thanksgiving Day annually. Thank you for just for that. They should be on Mount Rushmore. Oh, Thanksgiving is my favorite. Hey, just a note to listeners. At 10:30, if you're listening on the app, you're going to have to go to radio. We've got a hockey obligation. There must be some kind of Penguins game that starts at that time or whatever. But 10:30 today, you will get a hockey game instead of my voice. 103.1 FM, 9:10 a.m. up near the Scranton area, and 9:80 a.m. down in the Wilkes-Barre area. That's 10:30 a.m. It happens a couple times a year. By the way, somebody texted in kindly, Kevin O'Leary is Mr. Wonderful. Yesterday, I was interviewing the guy, what was his name? Tommy Boy from the Yacht Rock group. I had a complete brain, well, they call them brain farts. Well, we'll say it. I didn't remember Jimmy Buffett, and I didn't remember Parrot Heads. It was the first time I had it happen on the radio where, it was something within my grasp. And now, so stick with me, guys. You're going to have to help me through the show. Wendy and others texting in to tell me, come on, Bob, it's Mr. Kevin O'Leary that said, hey, cut more than you have to, and then add later. All right, well, Sunday's a neat event that we want to talk to you about. It's Bill Ayers, Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice Rally. How are you, Bill?
Doing fine. How you doing?
Great. Thank you for checking back in to tell us more about this and to repeat what we had heard the other day. Tell us the what, who, what, when, where, and why.
Sure. This Sunday is going to be a wrongful conviction rally at the Luzerne County Courthouse in Wilkes-Barre at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
This is basically something we do every year around Wrongful Conviction Day, which was yesterday. And the purpose is to generate awareness of wrongful convictions and the need to, make changes that could help reduce these incidents. And also, bring awareness to the fact that crime victims are impacted by wrongful convictions.
Yeah.
We've been known to assist crime victims since we were founded back in 1997. And, for a crime victim to be denied justice by seeing their attackers go scot-free after the system had sent the wrong person to prison is another crime that these victims are suffering, as well as those who are wrongfully sent to prison for crimes they didn't do. So, we, as a group advocating for crime victims, find this to be a very important topic. We're going to be joined by some speakers that were wrongfully convicted in Pennsylvania. Forgive me if I can't pronounce the names exactly correctly, but we have Yaduja Bostick, who was wrongfully convicted. She's going to share a little bit about the injustices she suffered. Terrence Lewis, Michael Grant, and Daniel Carnival, and Larry Trent Roberts will also be joining us. Leading the Deskovich Foundation, which is a group that advocates for wrongful convictions, is Jeffrey Deskovich. He is a gentleman who was wrongfully convicted for a rape in New York, and he was exonerated with DNA evidence 17 years later. He then, after suing New York, used the money to go to school, become a lawyer, and now, his experience fuels him into helping spare others from basically experiencing the same injustices that he did.
And, Bill Ayers, it's we're talking to Bill Ayers. He's Pennsylvania Bikers for Justice rally. Sunday's their event. It's not just those that are maliciously prosecuted wrongfully. There are others that suffer just bad luck, wrong place, wrong time. They look like they're guilty, and the system screws them. So there's a lot of, and by the way, I believe this fully. Our system of justice is as good as you can get for the human, considering the human condition, both foul and incompetent wise. So it's an important thing, and I'm happy you brought up the victims as well. Sunday, what time again?
It's 1 p.m. at the Luzerne County Courthouse.
All right, man. Thank you very much, and thanks for doing it.
Oh, no problem. Glad to. Thank you for having me today.
All right, Bill. Thanks for calling in. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. We've got a veterans tribute. Our veterans, this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga, and let's feature one of his great companies since it's the weekend. Basiliga Hospitality. That includes a Terra 519, my place last night. Winner of Best Fine Dining, Best New Local Restaurant, Best Wine Selection. Sergey's Live right underneath. Winner of Best Nightclub, Best Live Music Venue. They're hopping tonight. Well, that's just where it begins. Far Street Tavern. Winner of Best Bar Food, Best Neighborhood Bar. Queen City Tavern, Best Bar winner. Scranton Art House, Best Movie Theater, without a doubt. Then you got the Old Brook Inn, Best Outdoor Dining 2 years in a row. Best Place to Have a First Date 5 years in a row. And with the beautiful weather coming up, think of it. And the Stegmeyer. Oh, transporting you to another era. I tell people it's like going to the Mansion Tour in Newport and getting to sit down and eat. Amazing. Our veteran this hour, an old friend of mine, Joseph Carr, Dunmore. He was born in Scranton. At the time of his passing last year, July 18th, he and his wife, Dolores, another beautiful person, were happily married for 68 years. Graduate of St. Paul's High School and the University of Scranton, where he was a member of the college swim team. Joe Carr was a veteran of the United States Army serving us. He was employed in the insurance industry his entire life and was past president of the Claims Association. That's when claims adjusters, they were great. He was one of the best. He's survived by his wife, Dolores, his children, Carol, Kathleen, Patricia, as well as his grandchildren. Preceded in death by his son and best friend, my man, Richard Carr. Also by brothers Frank and twin brother Robert. He loved going on cruises with his wife, playing golf with his son Richard, grandson Kyle, and he loved Penn State, he and Richard. He was a good man, a quiet guy, unassuming. But from the moment I met him and when I was in 8th grade, you just knew he was a good man. And I never knew he served us in the Army. These are the great people we've got to remember. Joseph Carr, our veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast, and it's a beauty from our guy, meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, mostly sunny, 72 degrees. Tonight, clear skies, 52. Saturday, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. How about that? And I heard Joe on the weather this morning on the morning show, the morning news, and he said it right. I mean, if don't watch football unless it's midget football, and you're outside watching it. But don't watch it and be stuck inside or in a basement somewhere. Drag the TV outside if you don't have it outside already, and then you could watch football. Don't miss this weather. And it hit me. He said it, and it's so true. It's probably the last time in 7 months we're going to have this kind of weather. Yeah. Unless you're a snowbird, you know. Somebody takes in, don't worry, Bob, I'm 9 years younger than you, and I thought Paul Orndorff from WWF was Mr. Wonderful, not Kevin O'Leary. Well, that's different. Somebody else takes it, Bob, since you forgot about Jimmy Buffett, you're going to have to play Come Monday by Jimmy Buffett on Monday's show to make up for it. You hear that, Bulldog? He says yes. All right. This will be the test of the Bulldogs' memory. Now, Bulldog remembers, he's a classic Bulldog. He remembers grudges that he holds. Let's see if he remembers Jimmy Buffett from Monday. That's a good thought. Somebody says, I'm one that listens on the app, so I won't be able to listen after 10:30. He says, unfortunately, these fairways don't cut themselves, says Tom from Dallas. Well, Tom, you're doing God's work cutting the fairways. So, and I'm going to miss. And Tom came up with a suggestion. He was hearing Larry, and a lot of people responded to Larry from Plymouth yesterday, who's, he's an atheist. Actually, I don't believe he is, but that's another story. But he likes to, needle. And he said, I was driving and got all fired up listening to Larry talk about, prayers aren't answered and that kind of thing. He said, I had to drive home and blast a great song praising God. He says, I'm not one to listen to gospel music, but this song is fantastic. It's called On My Knees from the Red Clay Strays. Do we have it yet, Bulldog? Play. Let's hear a part of it. Let's hear part of it. Wow. Man, that's good. Huh. Thank you, Tom from Dallas. That's really good. On My Knees from the Red Clay Strays. Oh, what a great song. Bulldog, just keep that in the repertoire. We may need that. We've got Bulldog, you agree we've got a lot to be thankful for, right? The whatever, karma or whatever brought me and the Bulldog together. Isn't that funny? And obviously so much more. I was with my buddy Dominic last night, Dominic Morocco, and he's had an amazing career. And he's currently down in the Florida area. But he loves it here, and his family's here, so he comes up, bought a house up here also. He's a reverse snowbird, which I think is really great. But in any event, the good song, thank you. And keep cutting the fairways, Tom from Dallas. We appreciate it. And he reminds me to remind you, if you're listening on the app, we're going to go to a hockey game at 10:30. I'm not the announcer of the hockey game. All right? We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back. Stevie Ray Vaughan, born Dallas, Texas. This date, 1954. He died in a helicopter crash, 1990 in East Troy, Wisconsin. The House is a Rockin' Murph picked from 1989, his last hit song. And I like it. By the way, did I talk about Chubby Checker? That was the first song we played. His name was Ernest Evans. Born in Spring Gully, South Carolina. We played The Twist, of course. And we know Chubby. Chubby's been on a number of times. Love him. He's just great. Anyway, back to this forgetfulness thing. Do you guys? Everybody gets it, right? That was concerning. I never had it happen like that on the air. I went blank. And the Bulldog was no help whatsoever. Now, the Kevin O'Leary thing today, you guys are here for me for that. But big cat among you, telling Kevin O'Leary. You know what I mean? But not remembering, Kevin O'Leary, not remembering his name, so what? But when I'm doing a music interview and I have an important point to make, that the Yacht Rock guys are sort of the successors to Jimmy Buffett. And to forget Jimmy Buffett and what I don't even know what I call them. What do I call them? I don't know, something else, but not parrot heads. So, yeah, you got to watch this stuff. Hey, I'm late for the Bloomberg Money Minute. Let's go to it, Bull. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Murph says they moved up to number 2 on the charts with their hit, Looking Out My Back Door. This date, 1970. And before that, Captain Kangaroo and the Mickey Mouse Club, both premiering on CBS and ABC respectively. This date, 1955. How about that? And there's a bunch of other shows. In fact, I had heard it. Yeah, good stuff. Anyway, so I tell you how terrible these newspapers are, okay? Now, the Scranton Times has an article today about the federal shutdown of Steamtown won't derail Trolley Museum. Well, we had Chris Chermak, Lackawanna County Commissioner, on yesterday explaining how it happened. He got in touch with Rob Bresnahan, and Rob got it done. There's not one mention of Chris Chermak or Rob Bresnahan in the article. By the way, shame on you, Jim Lockwood. He's normally a good reporter. They're quoting in what appears to be a release. It's not he didn't answer a question. Something that Pat McKenna wrote for him. Because remember, Billy Gaughan's Pat McKenna used to write the editorials, horrible, horrible editorials, even before the newspaper got worse, for the Scranton Times. So Billy Gaughan is his sock puppet, and they're both left-wing lunatics, total loons. So he wrote a press release, and Lockwood quotes him when the true story is Chermak went to Bresnahan. Bresnahan got it done. Unbelievable. I'm just befuddled. And no mention of Bresnahan intervening. No mention of Chris Chermak asking him to intervene. What a disgrace. And this is what they do. Now, as with anything, the stop clock is right twice a day. I turn the paper, turn to page 3, and I see my buddy Brian France, Dr. Brian France, Scranton District Dental Society giving awards and scholarships to a bunch of young people. How nice is that? And there's his beaming, round beaming face, Brian France. So good stuff. Also, and things I don't get to often enough, the Taylor Fire and Rescue received a $10,000 donation from Waste Management's Alliance Landfill. And there they are, doing our work, God's work for all of us, Taylor Fire. And then, by the way, on the front page, and you're going to hear about this, the subsidies for health insurance, the Obamacare, the failed Obamacare. Please remember this. It has failed us royally. And remember this. Bob Parker, we hear him on his commercials, and it's funny to see him now. I love his commercials. But he's a health insurance expert. So they went to the right guy to talk about it, one of the Standard Speakers reporters, because a price hike looms for people who were receiving Obamacare. And that's what the Democrats claim they are holding up and closing down the government for. We'll see. We'll see. And we're going to be following that. But, yeah, what an awful newspaper. They always have an agenda. They always have a political agenda. And then in the Times Leader, they have some woman is going to run against Dan Muser. Now, she's not going to win. Nobody knows who she is. She gets the front page of the Times Leader because she's thinking about running for Congress next year. Are you kidding me? I did not think after Pat McKenna got fired and they got rid of all the other, at least you knew who to bitch at. They got rid of so many good people that were at the Scranton Times for their careers. the new company, Alden. I didn't think the paper. I thought, man, they're going to go conservative. It's going to be interesting and fun, and it's not going to be cookie cutter. It got worse. All of these papers got worse. It's unbelievable. Whew. Crazy stuff. I don't know. Hey, I look at my Cordaro Jewelers watch. It is telling me it's time. 10:01 and change. And that means we've got to go to the news with Brian Hughes. We're going to come back. We're going to have the Weekend Warrior. It only gets better after this. Great, good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:07 and change here in the great Northeast this beautiful Friday, October 3, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and the great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year and last, but get to celebrate today thanks to John. Like Joseph Carr of Dunmore, John Morelli, Scott Township, Terry Ann Gallagher, and John Jack Griffith, Quarryville, formerly of Bloomsburg. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that we will create a sanctuary of sanity because of our commitment to common sense for the balance of this morning. And you need it. These crazy lunatic left-wing Democrats, it's insane. Where's the normal? Well, this is as crazy as the Democrats. The voice of reason in the Democrat Party is John Fetterman, the Marxist. Wow. Now tell me that's not astonishing. He's the voice of reason. And unashamedly so, at least from the standpoint of talking about it. He still votes 100% with the lunatic left, but at least he says the right things. He embarrasses us with the Hoodie Act, but other than that, at least we hear some sense out of the guy. All right. Well, it's Friday. It's heading into a football weekend. So what do? We turn to Mike Sid Hallinan, the weekend warrior. And here he is. Sid, how are you, my man?
Good, Bobby. How are you today?
Good. Good to have you back, although, man, time is flying on us, isn't it?
You better believe it. We're up to week 6 now in week 5 in the NFL, week 6 with college football. So, yeah, it's moving on fast.
Oh, boy. Well, the last beautiful weather weekend, probably. And you tell us what are you looking at in college tomorrow?
Really only looking at one game, Bob, and it's a game that's tomorrow night's featured game on national TV, a game that used to be so huge at one time and sort of died off over the last few years, and now with Florida State's resurgence, the Miami Canes and Florida State go at it tomorrow night. I love the Canes -4 over Florida State. Will take the U.
How about that? Hey, but let me interrupt you. How did we do last week?
Last week we were 2-4, Bob.
All right. Well,
the winners, Baltimore was a little bit of a surprise. Green Bay and Dallas tie-in. They're going to repossess my car soon, Bob. So. I keep picking games like that. I'm 10-15-1 on the year, so we're not too bad.
All right. Well, so Miami -4 on Saturday. Let's get to the NFL. Talk to me.
Okay, the Birds are going to make a comeback offensively this week, even though they're 4-0 and everybody's crying that they're really not playing that well. We're going to take the Eagles -3.5 at home over Denver.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. They could easily be 4-0. They lost last week on a last-second field goal. I'm going to take Indy -7 over the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Raiders are that bad, huh?
Well, now they have some injuries starting to pile up too, Bob, so it's not getting much better for them.
Oh, what a shame. What else? What else we got? I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm losing it. I actually root for the Eagles more than the Raiders at this point.
That's all right.
I rooted.
There's room on the bandwagon.
I was saying this. I rooted for the Ryder Cup with more intensity than any football game in years.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense. It was something different, especially with the fans, too, getting pretty excited over everything. Yeah. But you're a Raider fan from way back,
way
buddy.
back, I know.
Way back, Villapiano and all those guys.
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not what the Raiders were. They're not Raiders. They're just another corporate football team.
No, they are. They are. So,
all right, moving on from Indy. What do you got next?
I've got Detroit -10 over Cincinnati. Detroit's starting to rev it up now. Cincinnati, they're going to be playing for a top 5 draft pick next year. Without Joe Burrow, this is a totally different team. And defensively, they haven't gotten much better either. So 10 doesn't seem that high with the way Detroit's playing. So I'm going to take Detroit -10 over Cincinnati.
Okay, any other picks?
Oh, yeah, I love Seattle -3 at home over Tampa Bay. This is an interesting game because both teams have improved an awful lot. Seattle's defense has been surprising. And you know what? Baker Mayfield has made Tampa Bay a contender despite the injuries that they've had. But I'm going to take Seattle at home -3. And then Monday night, it's an interesting game, Bobby, with Kansas City and Jacksonville. Jacksonville's a 3-point underdog at home, but I think Kansas City might have it rolling now with getting a couple of those receivers back. It opens it up a little bit more for Mahomes. It could be a good game, though. Should be a good game. So I'm going to go with KC, though. I think they might be on their way back.
All right, how many? What are they giving?
I'm sorry. Kansas City is a 3-point favorite, so they're giving 3.
All right.
But they're on the road on this one. But 3 is
nothing, yeah.
Give or take here and there, So
well,
that's about it for this week.
That's what you got. Well, is in your mind, is the football season building up? Is it just moving along? What do you see? Anything of interest trend-wise in the NFL or college?
Well, I think, college is kind of stagnant right now. I mean, they still rate Ohio State number 1. They didn't play anybody. The best team I've seen so far this year in college, and I've been wrong all year, I might as well be wrong with this one too, but I like the Canes. I mean, the Canes have had a pretty decent schedule, and they seem to be probably the most balanced college team on both sides of the ball. As far as the pros go, it's still wide open, depending on what team you cheer for. I mean, the NFC with Philadelphia, with Detroit, with Seattle, the Rams lost a tough one last night with all the injuries that the 49ers had. And that line, Bobby, went from 3.5 to 8.5. That's because that was all the injuries that San Francisco had. And San Francisco pulls it out in overtime.
Anyway. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
I didn't get, I forget that Thursday game. Was it on Prime or what was it on?
Yeah, it was on Prime. And, if you don't really have much of an interest in it, plus, too, you had the Yankees Red Sox on.
I missed that too. I was at a Terra having scotch. The Red Sox. I should have watched the Red Sox Yankees. I should have.
Yeah, that's what I watched. Anyways, I wanted to see the Sox win that, and but that will say, Bob, wait till next year, I guess.
I know it. Well, Sid Hallinan, weekend warrior. He's putting it all on the line again this week. We love it.
Every week.
All right. Intrepid, they call him. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show.
Have a good weekend, Bob.
All right, man. You too.
I'll see you.
Neil Diamond. Well, this song always reminds me of Cutie, but Neil Diamond reminds me all the time. And he's a little under the weather right now, our man Doc Doherty. God bless him. Prayers for him. Cracklin' Rosie was number 4, Murph says, this date, 1970. Bob Cordaro back with you. So I'm perusing Facebook because somebody sent me something from Facebook. And I see this thing which was passed on by my old friend Jerry Capone, classmate from Dunmore. And it shows pictures of, and brought a tear to my eye reading it. And the guy's at a Cubs game. And he says, even though the Cubs win was amazing, this story tops it for me. An older couple sat next to us in the bleachers. He struggled with the stairs, so 2 brothers nearby, one from Chicago, the other who flew in from San Diego, stepped in to help. The entire game, they stood when the crowd stood, helping him up when he wanted to cheer, and even sat so he could see. His wife quietly told me that he was going through chemo, and at one point he leaned over to her and said, "I just love this." At the end, the brothers made sure he got up the steps safely. I hugged them both and thanked them. With all the chaos in the world, kindness like this deserves to be noticed. What a beautiful story. There's still great people in the world, and who knows what their politics is? Who cares? There are places we could meet, even if you're wrong about everything. In any event. Yeah. It's amazing stuff. Somebody said to the Weekend Warrior, what, was he afraid to touch the Cleveland and Viking game? No, he is not. He's not afraid of any games. He just, if he doesn't have a good feeling, he doesn't go with it. That's all. But good question. Now, the Pie Man's coming at the bottom of the hour. And somebody says, the Pie Man cometh and the Pie Man goeth with the Eagles as always. Yeah, we'll see. Who knows, right? Somebody says, Bob, did you know Crackling Rosie is about booze? Yes, I did. I did know that. But, I mean, it just... store-bought woman, right? So, we're going to have Dan Muser on at 11:05. He's going to update us on... And, by the way, we're going to have Kalen Deese on later in the 11 o'clock hour to talk about this oddball story. My man Gary Duncan sent me, I think it was either he or Gene Fisher. They sent me this article that Kalen Deese had written, and we have him on all the time, the Justice Department reporter for the Washington Examiner. And the article was by him, and I immediately got in touch with his publicist and said, well, hey, can we have him on to talk about this Des Moines, Iowa superintendent who was an illegal alien? And so we're going to do that, yeah. Well, fascinating. I'm looking forward to that, but we've got a jam-packed hour. Next hour, we're humming along this hour. Hey, I really want you to tell me, anyone who's had an experience where the closing of the federal government was a problem for them. I'm just curious. I'm curious if it has impacted your life at all. And I'm including if you're a federal employee. I know we have them around here. Have they been furloughed? Have they been laid off? Are they at risk? We'll see. But for now, let's go to Frank from Scranton. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Bob.
How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I just wanted to tell you, I went to Picardo Jewelers yesterday.
Oh, they're great. They are great.
I walked in. I was instantly greeted by Alex, and he said, "Hi, may I help you?" And I think I gave my common response that I say to people when they ask, "May I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, do you have a couch and do you have a degree in psychology?"
Well, they do have a couch.
But anyway, I went there because my wife says I'm a little like Monk on TV because I'm always adjusting pictures and I'm adjusting my windshield wipers so they're synchronized and constantly checking tires that make sure they all have the same exact pressure. So I had my watch, a beautiful black watch that I bought on a cruise, and the band on it has plastic where it joins to the watch, a nice piece of shiny black plastic. And he looked at it and he says, "Oh my God," he said, "I don't have anything like that." But he said, I did tell him, I said, "Bob Cordaro sent me." and he said, "Well, let me see if I could fix this." So he turned around, he got a little box, and he took a keeper, what they call them. It's like a little black thing that goes on the band to hold the end of the where you fasten it.
Mm-hmm.
So it does, because mine I had two on it and they both broke. So it was flapping, and I can't stand that. I couldn't put up with it.
Well, Alex was on yesterday, and he said, Alex Picardo, and he said his grandfather, I loved the terminology. He said his grandfather was the best bench man, meaning, you get down on the jeweler's bench and fix things and create things. And, that was neat.
Yeah, well, he put the keeper on, and now my watch doesn't flap anymore at the end of it.
So Monk has his watch, and everything's in order now, huh?
Yeah, but we had a nice talk, and I told him I have a beautiful ring that my wife bought me for Christmas last year, and I said, I probably shouldn't mention the name of the place, but I said I asked them. It's one of those lab-created diamonds, but It's beautiful. It's a whole bunch of diamonds on the ring, and I get so many compliments for it. But I asked the young man there, I says, "Do you have a military discount?" And he says, "Yes, we do." I says, "Well, could I have it?" He says, "Well, you have to go online, and you have to get our app, and you have to put all this information in." So I did. I said, "Okay, well, I guess you can't do it here." He says, "Nope." So I got online, and I'm not a guru on the computer. So I looked, and I couldn't find the app. And then when I did find it, I couldn't get into it. I had a whole bunch of trouble. So I just shut it off, and I waited. I should have gone down and had him do it for me because, I'm 81 years old. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a computer guru.
No, and you're not talking to one here.
Yeah, well, but I said, I was going to go down there, but I got so busy with my wife getting sick, I didn't go down for I think it was 2 months, and I finally went down. I said, and I talked to a young girl there, and I showed her the ring. I said, "We bought it here." And I asked the young man for a military discount. And long story short, he told me to go online. I says, "Can I get that discount?" She says, "No." She says, "It's 2 months." She says, "It's too late." So anyway, I missed out on about $180. And so I told this to Alex. I said, and that was disappointing. I says, because she paid good money for it. And he said, "Well, you should have came here." He said, "Because we give you a military discount as soon as you mention that you're military." And he said, "You don't have to go online or anything." So I said, "Next time I'm buying something, I'm coming here."
Now you know. That's right. Go to Picardo's.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, Frank, we got to go, my man, but thank you. And yeah, they're the best. They are the best. By the way, I tell people this, and it's not I pick who I want to talk about on the show. And if I'm not in love with their business, I don't do it. There's a lot more opportunities. I don't take them. I want to know, and that's Bacardo's is one, and you just gave another reason why. Thank you, my man. Always a pleasure. We've got to go. We got to hear from our sponsors, and then we'll come back. Veterans Tribute, weather, and then you. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man and a true patriot, John Basiliga, and his great hospitality group, which we are featuring today. Like Atera, where I was last night, and I can confirm, best fine dining, best new local restaurant, best wine selection, award-winning Atera 519. And then right underneath, and it'll be hopping tonight, Sergei's Live. Even for old fogies like me, it's fun. The winner, best nightclub and best live music venue. Then, of course, you want to watch the football games? I'll tell you where. Far Street Tavern. Best bar food, best neighborhood bar. Award winners. Queen City Tavern, Oliphant. Winner, best bar. Scranton Art House. They had the football 2 weekends ago. Winner, the best movie theater 3 years in a row. And then the Old Brook Inn. 2 years in a row, best outdoor dining. Best place to have a first date 5 years in a row. And I could confirm that. Even a fifth date. Old Brook Inn. And the Stegmeyer Mansion, just be transported to another place at another time. They've earned these awards. Believe me. You'll see why if you go. John Morelli. We lost him at age 69, September 28th. He was from Scott Township. He died doing what he loved most, caring for his horses. He's survived by his wife of 48 years, the former Laura Mazeka. John Morelli was born in Peckville, graduate of Mid-Valley High School, class of 73. He was employed by Tobahan Army Depot, Coolbaugh Township, as a government communications expert, then later by Allegrucci Farm, Scott Township. He served this country and all of us with the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. Member of the American Legion in Dixon City. Also a member of St. Carlo Acutis Parish at St. Patrick's Church, Oliphant. He was a loving husband, father, brother, brother-in-law. His family says John was the kindest person in the world. What a great thing to say about somebody. He was a world traveler and expert at his craft. His favorite employment was taking care of animals, especially his horses. In addition to his wife, his son, and many other family members survive him. John Morelli. Terry Ann Gallagher, proud Air Force veteran, devout faith. She was the former Terry Ann White. Born in Bowman, North Dakota. She entered eternal rest with the Lord and Savior after a life filled with faith, gratitude, and love. She was a graduate of Bowman High School and North Dakota State University. Terry's life was forever changed when she accepted Christ during her college years, holding John 3:16 as her salvation verse. She served us proudly for 13 years in the United States Air Force with assignments in the U.S. and Germany, where she met and later married Dennis Gallagher. That was in 1983. They were blessed with 2 children and a granddaughter who brought immense joy to her life. Though diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 1995, Terry faced every challenge with courage, resilience, and unshakable faith. Terry Ann Gallagher. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker today. Mostly sunny, high 72, 60 degrees outside the studios right now. Tonight, clear skies, low 52. Saturday, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. Sunday, mostly sunny, 80 degrees. Well, you know what that means. And I love when they're on the same day. Weekend Warrior, and then the Pie Man cometh. Here he is, the Pie Man. Bulldog. Hey, Pie Man, how are you, brother?
Robert!
Hey,
Good morning. Happy
Pie Man.
Friday.
The Bulldog and I are like 2 grumpy old men at this point. We're forgetting. He forgot to play Fetterman. I forgot Jimmy Buffett's name. We're a couple of doddering old fools here. but the Pie Man is here. How are you, brother?
Yeah. I'm good. Let's see if I can make up for it in some good,
please, yes,
good
please,
analysis here.
Please do so.
He spent too much time in Altieri last night. That's what it is.
And it was great. I had the Pie Man, by the way, at Terra. He loved it, too. He loved it.
Oh, my God. That was amazing. That was a great night.
All right,
night for the ages.
Let's get to football now, brother.
Let's go. Well, welcome to Week 5 in the NFL. The 2-2 Denver Broncos are headed to Philadelphia, Lincoln Financial Field, 1:00 game to take on the 4-0 Eagles. The Eagles last week won a nail-biter over Tampa Bay, 31-25. But, Bob, you know what? I got to be direct here. I'm really worried about this team. They're horribly inconsistent. It's mostly in the offensive side of the ball. You think about where they were last year in the Super Bowl performance and where they are right now, and there's reason to be concerned. They've been prone to wild swings through four games now. Last week was another week of the tale of two halves. They had 32 yards total offense against the Rams in the first half.
Wow.
And last week against Tampa Bay, it was only in no points. And last week against Tampa Bay in the second half, they had 29 total yards and no points. They are ranked, Bob, 29th in the league in total yards. And the defense is not doing a whole lot better. They're ranked 22nd in the league. It's due to a couple issues. The offensive line has a bunch of injuries. Saquon Barkley, teams are really gearing to stop him by putting 9 in the box. He's only averaging 3.1 yards per carry.
Oh,
he only has, 50 yards per game. A.J. Brown, of course, is complaining everywhere about not getting the ball. Hurts is ranked number 10th in the league at quarterback rankings. So they're trying to figure it out. The coaches are trying to figure it out. Do you do the running game to open up the passing game, or do passing to open up the running game? On the other side, the Eagles unquestionably have the best defensive coordinator in the league, your golf partner, Vic Fangio.
Mm-hmm.
The special teams has been fabulous. They have 2 blocked field goals, 5 key turnovers, and in the red zone, the number 1 in the NFL. And, Bob, it all comes down to, so far, good teams find ways to win.
Yes.
Bad teams find ways to lose. And that's the only stat that matters is wins and losses, and they're 4-0. The Eagles are 20-1 in their last 21 games, marking the most victories over any 21-game stretch in team history. They've won 18 games in a row. So they're facing this week the Denver Broncos. Bob, they're 2-2, but the Broncos are much better than that record. Sean Payton is the head coach. He's a fabulous head coach. His strategy is always tough to figure out. Their quarterback, Bo Nix, is an excellent quarterback, extremely mobile, which is always kryptonite for the Eagles. They're ranked 10th in the league in defense versus the Eagles 23rd. Their offense is 9th in the league against the Eagles 29th. So on paper, the Broncos are the better team.
But
the Eagles are really hard to beat, especially at home. So
let's get to the pick, Pie Man. Enough preliminaries.
Okay. So the over/under is 42.5. The Eagles are 3.5 points favorite. Vegas has the 78.5% confidence that the Eagles are going to win and a 65% confidence they're going to cover the spread. So my prediction, Bob, is the Eagles 24, the Denver Broncos 17.
So they'll stay under by the Pie Man, but they will cover. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Pie Man.
It's going to be, the Eagles got to figure out what these issues are.
Well, you can't win ugly every week, although they sort of did it last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they took it all the way to the Super Bowl victory, winning ugly.
The Super Bowl, yeah.
Well, the Pie Man cometh. The Pie Man was here, and now the Pie Man goeth. And he was not. By the way, Bulldog knows you've become a prima donna, and that if he didn't play Fetterman, you were not making a prediction. Pie Man, thank you, my brother.
I think it's a good thing we didn't have Fetterman on today.
I know.
Starting out on a much higher note.
Honest to God. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure.
All
Peter
right,
Della Porta.
Great show, Bob. Congratulations.
The Pie Man. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. That's free. Murph says they moved into the top 10 charts at number 10 with that hit All Right Now. How about that? All right, Bulldog, are you ready? I'm going to regret this. I'm going to regret it. But let's let the song play out, and then you'll see where we're leading. I'm keeping it a mystery. A long time to get to the punchline here, isn't it? Come on, Michael. Set us up, Michael. Where's it? By the way, my cousin Tommy P wanted me to tell you that the Yankees beat the Red Sox last night, and I told him I'm not going to say it. All right, there it is. What a Fool Believes. And it's Frank from Wilkes-Barre. How are you, Frank?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great.
I'm calling about the shutdown you guys caused. The government.
How did the Republicans cause it?
Oh, they wouldn't negotiate with the Democrats.
Negotiate what? Spending money on illegal aliens?
I didn't hear that, Bob. You yelling, doing what?
Spending money on illegal aliens? Was that
How
what
are they
you
doing
want?
that?
They're trying to do that.
How are they doing it?
Who, the Democrats?
Yeah, how are they spending money on the illegal aliens?
Well, Frank, do you know that 17% of Pennsylvania's Medicaid budget is spent on illegal aliens?
How do you know?
Those are the facts, Frank. I know you're immune from them, but that's the facts.
What does that have to do with the
It has everything to do with the shutdown.
Obamacare?
The Democrats, by the way, your guy Fetterman voted for it. He voted to continue the budget.
Who did?
Fetterman.
Yeah,
He voted with the Republicans.
Yeah, so what do you want me to do? To call him a name or something?
No, I want you to realize that you're on the wrong side again.
But how come you don't want to let the poor people get the coverage they need?
It has nothing to do with the poor people.
What?
It has nothing to do with the poor people. It's illegal aliens.
Yeah. Who said the illegal aliens are getting money? Republicans, right?
No, Frank, it's the facts.
Who said? You say, right? The Republicans are on TV today saying it. They got
Frank,
their names.
you know who
They're the
said
ones
it?
that know who they are. All they got to do is stop it.
Do you know who
if they
said
know
it?
who's doing it, why don't they stop
Frank,
it, Bob?
you know who said it? At least 3 Democrats on national TV, including Ro Khanna, the congressman
okay,
from California.
Why don't they stop it? The Republicans can stop it just by stopping their checks.
No, Frank. It was in the law that the Democrats wanted to pass is to give illegal aliens health insurance, Medicaid.
It's in the, if they want to give it, they said it was for the illegal
Frank,
aliens,
we're going to play
right?
we'll play some facts after the top of the hour, which Chris Cuomo, no Republican, points out. It's the reality. By the way, Frank, has the shutdown affected you yet?
I know people that get Obamacare that can't afford it now if they take the things off them. What do they do with their kids? How do they live? You tell me, Bob. You got all the money. You're not worried about Obamacare.
Frank.
There's people that need it.
Frank.
I mean, that's a fact, Bob. But what are you going to say?
Frank.
They don't deserve it?
First of all, the credits don't expire until the end of the year, and they were created during COVID. Is COVID still going on?
They're helping the poor people.
And Frank, do you know we don't have the money, by the way? Do you know that?
You got the money to build a big downtown up there. You got money to put down, but you're just like your fascists, buddy. That's why you're a fascist, just like Donald Trump.
I know I am, Frank.
You can't even defend the Constitution anymore.
Oh, Frank.
Oh, Bob, you're just a loser.
Frank,
You've always been and
Frank,
you always will
I
be.
love you, but you're lost. All right, it's time for the news. That's what my Ricardo Jewelers watch says. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:09 a.m. here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, October 3, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. It's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Company, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like the veterans we've lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Joseph Carr, Dunmore, John Morelli, Scott Township, Terry Ann Gallagher, and Jack Griffith, Quarryville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. And I don't have opportunity to play Chris Cuomo making sense very often. But he's calling the Democrats out for lying. Well, Frank didn't believe me, but maybe he'll believe Chris Cuomo. I don't know. And speaking on the budget stalemate, on the government shutdown, we have our own Congressman, Dan Muser. Congressman Muser, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Bob, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased that you played what Chris Cuomo had to say. I think it was pretty clear. He stated very clearly that they are not telling you the truth regarding the whole case behind the shutdown. What you hear from the Democrats is not true, per Chris Cuomo.
I mean, everything they do is, look, the whole party is based on lies right now. I don't know if they come out of it. Again, I'm listening to John Fetterman as the voice of reason in the Democrat Party, and I can't even believe it.
It's true. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries, I honestly, I don't like having dislike for anybody in the House, but everything, I mean, 98% of what he says is completely true.
Yeah.
Those ads that they run on Rob Bresnahan, locally, 99, if not 100%, completely false, completely untrue. And, apparently, to an extent, they're getting away with it. We're in this battle. And that last gentleman you had on, calling you a fascist, calling us all fascists, I think it was Huey Long that said, when fascism comes to America, it will come under the guise of anti-fascism.
Yeah,
I mean,
home run.
As soon as I heard him say that, I wrote down about 9 things that they did while Biden was in office that could be interpreted as fascist. I mean, we're about the Constitution. There's a lot of EOs going down, but if they're not legal executive orders, then they'll simply be overturned. And everything that we see so far, they are appropriate. And matter of fact, Trump has less executive orders than Obama had during his term. So anyway, look, on the shutdown, the people throughout Northeast and Central Pennsylvania need to know that, look, there's no gain here, only pain. It's absolutely senseless. There's no need for it. We agreed initially. It was a handshake agreement with Tom Cole, probably one of the most beloved, respected people on both sides of the aisle, appropriations chairman, really good friend of mine, that it was good. Let's do a CR, and their demands initially were keep it clean, a clean CR, and keep it short term. Okay, 7 weeks. That's what was done. Then demands number 2 came out. They said, well, wait a minute, we can't do this because we're polling it, and maybe we can blame this on the Republicans. So the demand number 2 was we're going to remove the prohibition of illegals voting, illegals receiving Medicaid, and that's a fact. I mean, there's 1.3 million that do receive Medicaid, according to very independent sources.
And Congressman Muser, one of the things that they keep lying about, without it being an outright lie, is that they incorporate the fake asylum seekers.
Yeah.
And many other undocumented illegal aliens. Well, they're not technically illegal aliens. They have undocumented aliens by the millions included in what they're trying to pass now and trying to push down our throats. Yeah.
And it's in their language, in their counter-proposal language.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson's bringing it out on Fox, just trying to show it. It's written in there that illegal aliens, as they're referred to, are eligible for Medicaid.
Yeah.
It's in their language. They want to revoke our termination of PBS NPR funding, and both of which I like. I like NPR. I mean, it's very biased. It's very liberal. So is PBS. But the fact of the matter is that we've got 500 channels. We don't need taxpayers to spend billions of dollars on a biased station. I mean, that would be like asking, when Rush Limbaugh was alive, asking the taxpayers to subsidize that. I don't think so. I don't think that would go over very well.
I'll take some taxpayers some subsidy for my show.
Well, same thing. Exact same thing. In fact, I think you're going to be bigger than Rush Limbaugh. But, $1.4 trillion of added spending is their demand. And, by the way, we have to pinky swear that we'd never have any new savings programs whatsoever. And then they come up at the end, because that was so ridiculous, this ACA, the Affordable Care Act renewal, but we've got until December 31st on that. We all knew that, and we're under discussions on it. There's some problems. There are people who make over $500,000 a year, and this was supposed to be temporary. This was passed in the not the Inflation Reduction Act, the rescue plan by the Democrats for a temporary use during a temporary benefit during COVID, and it was done deliberately to be temporary. Well, now they're saying they want it extended for forevermore, and meanwhile, probably the most egregious piece of it is that 1/3, and this is proven, 1/3 of the funding that's coming from ACA, which, by the way, is up over $200 billion higher than it was supposed to be, goes directly to insurance companies where people receive no health care services for them. The facts are stubborn things, ladies and gentlemen. And meanwhile, you got Jeffries out there saying this is Republicans' fault. And meanwhile, every Republican, but I guess one, maybe two in the House, voted to keep the government open. Only one Democrat voted with us out of 215. And, of course, we're seeing on the Senate floor most of the Democrats, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4, and you need 60. Yeah, we've got the gavel, we've got the chairmanship, but you need 60. So we need some Democrats, and they're voting later today. Maybe a few will come to their senses.
Hey, Congressman Muser, Jimmy Fallon, he hilarious. My executive producer, Mr. Paul, reminded me. Jimmy Fallon described Hakeem Jeffries as a bad Barack Obama cover band.
He's all worried about the sombrero, and meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are being furloughed. There's a huge disruption to our economy. It's not huge, but a disruption to our economy. And one could argue that's the only reason that he's for it is because the Republicans are doing too well. I mean, we're on too much of a roll. The economy's strong. Trump's cutting prescription drug prices by half or maybe more. We've got a Middle East peace deal on the table, which he just put out. Hamas has got to agree to by Sunday afternoon. So, I mean, he's just taking care of business, and Democrats can't stand it. And then meanwhile, you got Schumer. I mean, have you ever seen a more selfish politician? The guy's been in office, 40 years?
He's just a weirdo. He's a real weirdo. And I always heard that from the days when I was working on Capitol Hill. He's a weird guy.
Yeah. And this whole thing's about him being afraid of AOC running against him. I mean, really? You're putting America, workers and people, and like the WIC program, for instance, we could pull out so many things. The SBA can't extend loans. The WIC is women and infant children initiative. That's like $7 billion was in this clean CR, yes, but it was an extension. We didn't think anybody would be against it. And meanwhile, they're holding that up too.
Yeah.
So it's bananas.
Well, it's crazy stuff. It's got to be beyond frustrating for you, Congressman Muser. You're there. You know the truth, and you've got to hear them get up and lie repeatedly. And brazenly. I don't get it. I don't know why. They should have said, "Look, we're going to do this, but now we're going to insist on this later." But that wasn't good enough. You're right. They had to change the paradigm because everything was working against them because this administration and this Congress is a success.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And, just back to the lies, it's really incredible because you can't even call them hypocrisy. I say it's hypocritical. It's more than that. It's deliberate lies, just like the ads they're running against Rob Bresnahan, stating how, we voted for tax relief for billionaires and costs and insurance to you. Completely false. None of that is true. There's 790 billionaires in the country, and we reduced taxes and kept taxes minimal for 160 million taxpayers throughout the United States, and the Democrats voted to increase the taxes on 160 million taxpayers. And by the way, of those 792 billionaires in the U.S., 73% donate heavily to the Democrats. So, right.
Yeah, this is just a continuing head scratcher. But again, all I could think of is they see the momentum. The issue of crime is killing them. Now we're taking on, and Memphis is welcoming the National Guard in. Washington, D.C., it has worked.
Isn't that amazing? It's worked so well. No incidences with National Guard doing anything wrong other than showing a presence, which has minimized crime. And yet in Portland and Chicago, they're yelling, "Leave my crime alone. Keep our criminals to us."
I don't know. Well, Congressman Muser, always a pleasure. Thank you for checking in, and we probably will be doing it this week. Although I was saying there's a possibility that a few senators are going to be released from their obligations to the party as early as this weekend. Just a guess. We're going to see.
I think that's the most potentially best scenario that's will happen. That's right. Schumer will beg them to get him out of this because it's ridiculous. And well, Bob, thanks for the opportunity to update our constituencies and our wonderful Northeast and Central Pennsylvania. And you are the common sense man. I appreciate you. We all appreciate you.
Well, we can't thank you enough for the work you do and for coming on with us today. Thank you, Congressman Dan Muser. Appreciate it.
Likewise, thanks.
All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll come back with a little history, a little music, and then you after this. 1980, Murph tells us this date, Bob Seger joined Bruce Springsteen on stage to perform Springsteen's hit Thunder Road at the Chrysler Arena on the University of Michigan campus, Ann Arbor, Michigan. And, of course, before that, 1995, O.J. Simpson found not guilty of the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ronald Goldman. But 2008, amazingly, on the same day, Simpson's found guilty of this petty robbery of his own sports memorabilia in Vegas. 2008, same day. Amazing. All right, let's a bunch of you text again that you got a kick out of Frank. Listen, Chris Kelly's welcome too. He's welcome to call in any day. These are not serious people. They don't even want to have a real discussion. Their Trump derangement syndrome renders them unthinking robots. And I get a kick out of it too, but I feel sorry. I truly feel sorry for people like Chris Kelly. I do. It's sad. Anyway, let's go to Betsy from Tunkhannock. They've got a Charlie Kirk vigil tonight. How are you? Thank you for your patience, too.
I'm good. And how are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
So, yes, we have a Charlie Kirk candlelight vigil. It starts at 6 to 8. I suggest people get there early for parking situations. There's parking around town and kind of fend for yourself. You know, we're a small town.
And where is this at? Tell us where it's at.
Oh, Tunkhannock,
yep.
PA.
At the county courthouse. Okay.
At the county courthouse.
Okay.
Yes, and we're a strong conservative county. We're very proud of it, and we just felt this was the right thing to do, and people are very excited about it. I think we'll have a big crowd.
I think that is great. And, you know, even more so now, because we all know we've lost a singular voice in Charlie Kirk. I don't know anybody that combined all of his attributes. The more I listen to him, his intellectual prowess, his understanding, his deep and well-grounded religious beliefs, there's just nobody on the scene like him today. So the fact that you're doing it now, 3 weeks after, means that the spirit is still alive, and the things that he initiated are still alive, particularly in Wyoming County. I love that.
I don't think any time frame should be put on something like this.
Mm-hmm.
He has basically started a cultural movement, and boy, has he been moving. He's just an amazing debater. He has created so much opportunity for young people to have their voices heard at colleges and universities across America. It's spreading all over the world. I know I think somebody told me there's over 100,000 requests for Turning Point chapters.
Yeah.
And here we are up in Northeast PA, beautiful country. We just believe in him. And I would love people to come up and enjoy it with us. We'll have Pastor Randy Blome, who was with Trump right before he got elected in 24. And he's very inspirational, and other speakers as well.
That's
so
great.
I'd say come earlier to get your spots. We don't want you to miss the beginning. And we have some music and just camaraderie, and we have to keep his legacy moving. And it's not just in cities or other countries. It's in Middle America and Northeastern PA.
Amen. Betsy, I thank you very much for what you and the group is doing. Tonight, 6 o'clock, Wyoming County Courthouse in Tunkhannock, Charlie Kirk Vigil, and really a very positive gathering of people who share American values. Thank you so much.
And it is going to be positive. in every sense of the word. There's going to be no negativity, and we don't want any trouble, and there won't be. So come up. It's a beautiful day and great people up here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for doing it, and I hope anyone within earshot can attend. It's a good thing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Wyoming County Courthouse, 6 o'clock tonight. Charlie Kirk, Candlelight Vigil. We'll take a break and be back with the Veterans Tribute after this. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by John Basiliga. And as we head into the weekend, Basiliga Hospitality. It's from fine dining to great bars and bar restaurants to the movies. They're award-winning. Voted the winner, best fine dining, best new local restaurant, best wine selection at Terra 519. Sergei's Live, right underneath. It's the nightclub. The winner of best nightclub, the winner of best live music venue. Then we go to the Far Street Tavern. Best bar food, best neighborhood bar, 3 years in a row. Queen City Tavern, Oliphant. Best bar. Scranton Art House, winner, best movie theater. And it is. Best outdoor dining, 2 years in a row. And this is the weekend to do it and savor it. And then best place to have a first date, 5 years in a row, the Old Brook Inn. And don't forget about my absolute favorite anywhere on the planet, Stegmeyer Mansion. Jack Griffith, National Horseshoe Champion, who loved singing. Jack was 91 from Quarryville, formerly of Bloomsburg. We lost him September 29th at home in Mount Carmel. He was the son of the late Samuel and Margaret Keel Griffith, a 1951 graduate of Mount Carmel High School. He proudly served all of us and this country by serving in the U.S. Navy during the Korean War. He was a tower operator for the Pennsylvania Railroad for 40 years. Jack was a member of the VFW Post 804 and the Valley of Bloomsburg American Legion. He loved to sing. He loved to play harmonica. Throughout his 80s, he entertained all ages by singing Frank Sinatra karaoke. He did it at the good old days in Bloomsburg. The college students loved him when he got on stage. He did shows for residents at nursing homes in the area. He loved the bowl, and he was a horseshoe champion. Preceded in death by his wife of 46 years, the former Dolores Karpovich, back in 2020. A step-granddaughter, tragically, Tara Helwig Vining, back in 2022. He lost his 2 sisters and 3 brothers as well, surviving her 2 sons and their spouses, a stepson, 4 grandchildren, and 7 great-grandchildren. John Jack Griffith, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Today, mostly sunny, 72. It's 64 outside the studio right now. Tonight, clear skies, low 52. Saturday, mostly sunny, 80. Sunday, mostly sunny, 80. All right. Me and the Bulldog. We're having these senior moments here, the 2 of us. By the way, I've been wanting to tell you, it's been going on for about an hour. The Sean Diddy Combs sentencing hearing is going on in federal court in Manhattan. My prediction, I don't think the sentencing happens today because the sentencing hearing can go on for more than a day in and of itself. They're just fleshing out I think he's going to get 10. That's what I see. We'll see. Now, when somebody, my mother included, by the way, they didn't like the sound on the Bruce Springsteen, Bob Seger thing. Well, it's history. The history is more important than the actual music in most cases. We're trying to bring you back to a date and a time. And Bruce Springsteen doesn't sound that great live anyway. It's just what it is. Maybe that was a reminder for all of you. Somebody wanted to set up a GoFundMe page so we can get Frank a phone that doesn't sound like he's 20,000 leagues under the sea. Kevin Gilbride thanking for the laugh. Tom Clark from Clark Summit tells me Frank defines hard-headed better than anyone I've ever heard. Yeah. Listen, he listens. He's one of our he's a member of our large dysfunctional family. I love the guy. I believe he's Polish, so I love him even more as a fellow Polak. And, he's got the guts to call in. Chris Kelly doesn't. Most left-wing loons don't have the guts. Frank's got the guts to call in, and we make fun of him. We give him a hard time, but we love him nevertheless. Somebody says, FF, love it, Friday Frankie. Maybe that'll be a regular feature. I'll look for a sponsor. Somebody says, why does Chuck Schumer and just about every Democrat in Washington insist on acting like a toddler who just had their iPad taken away? I know it. ALTS back at you. And a lot of people, somebody said they're watching. And by the way, that's another option. You can watch the program if you're not getting it, because we got preempted on the live stream on the app by the hockey game. So you can listen live and watch as the program unfolds by going to WILKNewsRadio.com and press watch. Now you gotta press a down arrow on your phone for it to unfold, and then you'll see the word watch, and then you could watch the program. Me doing my push-ups during the commercials and all the other nonsense. Once in a while, the Bulldog pops in. The bulldog pops in, and you can see the bulldog. He's sitting over there in his room smiling now. He's a very defiant bulldog. We're having our usual problems today. He and I. It's really more of a personality conflict than anything else. Nothing to be troubled about. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Had to wait for that. Guns N' Roses. This date, 1988, Murph says. They released their hit, Welcome to the Jungle. Mark from Hazleton texting, he says, once a country is habituated to liars, it takes generations to bring the truth back. Gore Vidal. How true. And I'm telling you, it's sad. And they just do this. The Democrats just lie. Well, Kalen Deese is the Justice Department reporter for the Washington Examiner. We've had him on a bunch of times before. And in fact, one of you noticed and sent to me a copy of a column I had not seen regarding this, I think it's hilarious, but ridiculous situation with the Des Moines superintendent of schools. And here he is, the aforementioned Kalen Deese. Kalen, how are you?
Thanks so much for having me on, Bob. There's a lot going on today as we've been covering. And
Yes.
this story that we're talking about today is something that was just bananas, I think, as far as what people imagine could happen in the, someone getting away with basically lying about their immigration status for so long, right?
Tell us, how did it happen, and where are we now?
Yeah, so the case of Ian Andre Roberts, as a lot of people have heard about this over the last couple of days, is that he essentially was a superintendent for Des Moines and for Des Moines School, and he was basically found by ICE to be, living here in the country illegally. He had a removal hearing last year in May that said that he couldn't stay in the United States any longer, but he's been here in this country since 1999. Came in on an F1 visa. So how did he stay here for so long is the big question that people were wondering. And, beyond, just what we've seen from ICE, it's hard to parse exactly what the real reason is. But, if you notice, his resume is very interesting because he spent his entire life in academia, with his most recent degree coming from Georgetown as late as 2014. So what happens a lot of times with people who are from other countries that, get involved in a life of academia, you can sort of stack your work authorizations over the years to the point where, at some point, most people who graduate from, if they're a foreign national, they go into the workforce and they have to get a, employer to sponsor where they work. But at colleges and universities, we see oftentimes that people like, in this case, can sort of extend their time here in the United States without going through the process of getting something like an H-1B visa or anything like that. So it's not entirely clear yet. We got some information from an attorney that represented him in Texas. His attorney is based in Texas. And what we were told essentially is that Mr. Roberts was given an indication in March that his immigration case that he was going through had resolved successfully. That was what his attorney told him. So they're kind of trying to go with this, line where it seems like he was given notice from his counsel that everything was okay in his immigration case. But it turns out, obviously, from ICE's perspective, there was something that was very wrong with this. And so we're kind of watching as it develops even more. But he's no longer in his role. He has resigned.
Kalen Deese is the Washington Examiner Justice Department reporter. We have him on often because he's always in the middle of the action. It's a funny thing. We've obviously got followers of yours now through this program because they're sending me your articles, which I thought it was a great story, as you usually provide. The funny sort of subpart to this that hasn't been hit on much is that the head of the school board, or whatever they call it out there, is an Obama operative, a left-wing lunatic who's running for Senate. And now she's got substantial amounts of egg on her face.
No, just like the optics of that is incredibly grim, I think, for not just that school district, but I think for all school districts that, we know oftentimes that the way that, these types of progressive viewpoints and policies and, lapses in actual accountability take place in academia. And so I think that it's just kind of contributing to that pattern. I think it's exposing a blind spot where many of these potential areas that the Trump administration might want to look into are rooted not just in college campuses, but also in local public school superintendents. The other thing, too, is the fact that, we did, see the allegations that emerged that he was registered to vote in Maryland. And from all accounts that I can tell, he was registered to vote. Now, I wasn't able to see any record that he ever actually voted himself. There's something funny with the with the Maryland, system in which you go about applying for a driver's license, where if you basically check a box, you can find yourself registered to vote in the state, even if you're not actually allowed to vote in the state, which sounds like a major problem for Maryland to have that kind of thing.
Oh, and it's intentional. It's an intentional problem. We have it in Pennsylvania, too. You get registered to vote with a driver's license. Well, if they give driver's license to illegals, you're registered to vote.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I will say it was at least a silver lining that we were able to find out that it doesn't appear at this time that he has voted, but that's just the least of his concerns right now, because we have reports that he had stated that he was a U.S. citizen on some of his background check applications, and that just seems like it's going to be something that could amount to possible perjury if it turns out that there is some sort of record out there that is able to be provided that he did state that he was a
as Trump
citizen.
says, Kalen Deese, get him out. Thank you very much. Kalen Deese, Washington Examiner, judicial reporter. We hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate
All right.
it.
Bloomberg Money Minute. We'll be back. Nickelback. Murph says this date, 2007, he had the number 8 hit with Rockstar. I asked Murph, I said, Murph, let's get into some, 90s, 2000 music history. And I'm sort of glad we did here. Rockstar, we're going to finish with that. And we're going to mention our veterans. Brought to you by our guy, John Basiliga, Basiliga Hospitality. Jack Griffith, Coreyville. Terry Ann Gallagher. John Morelli, Scott Township. And my old friend Joseph Carr, Dunmore. Thank you to them. And we remind you, they were ready to give everything for us. Let's remember them. Hey, Nikki D, my man Nikki DeSanto sends in the policeman prayer. They're going to be out there this weekend, our thin blue line. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat. Protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge. Protect them from harm, always keep them safe. and in your loving arms. The policeman's prayer. Tomorrow never comes. We always remember our friend Doreen Goriab. This was in her obituary, and I happily discovered it there. Tomorrow Never Comes by Norma Cornett Merrick. This is just a reminder for all of us to reach out to people you haven't seen in a while, people you might not see for a while, because you never know what tomorrow brings. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you, and I hope we will never forget. Tomorrow isn't promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, a kiss, or a phone call. And you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear that you love them very much and you'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. God willing, I'll be with you Monday morning. Have a safe, great weekend. I'm going to see my man Gene Barrett up at the Villa Maria in Westside this afternoon. And then we got the St. Joseph tournament up the Marjan tomorrow at 1 o'clock in memory of my nephew, Anthony J. Cordaro. So big weekend planned. I hope you have a good one. Adios, and let me gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Have a good one.